Hey there, I'm Allison Baggerly from Inspired Budget.
And I'm Chris Browning from Popcorn Finance.
And together we actually have a podcast called This is Awkward. And this podcast came about after a couple of small collaborations, and it turned into this big collaboration where we actually produce a bi-weekly podcast. And we know firsthand that finding someone to collaborate with can be stressful. So we're breaking it down into a simple 4-step process for you today.
Yeah, and just we're going to jump into step number one. I think the most important thing you
Mhm.
want to do is get engaged in your community. Get to know
Yes.
who else is out there who's making content similar to yours. And I think the best way to
Mhm.
do that is just to become fans of their work. Listen to their
Mhm.
podcasts, read their blogs, watch their YouTube
Mm.
videos, get engaged, take the time and energy to get to know who these people are. And because I know for me,
Mhm.
Allison, I don't know if this is the same for you, but I am much more willing to work with someone if they're familiar with at least something that I do, and it's not just a random email that looks like it was generated by by a bot.
Yes, absolutely. I completely agree 100%. There are so many wonderful ways where you can get to know people, even if you just start in their inbox, whether their email inbox, their Instagram inbox, whatever you do, just start reaching out, commenting on their things, and building that relationships. I have actually been a part of many successful collaborations, and it simply started with connecting. And that's
Yeah,
it. It starts with connecting. So when you're done with kind of just becoming aware of everyone inside of your niche. Chris, what is step number 2?
step number two: search for someone to collaborate with. This is where you
Yes.
put in all that work you did to get to know people around
Mhm.
you. This is where you can implement that knowledge now to help you find someone who you think you can work well with. So go through all those people you've had conversations with, who you've connected with, who you
Mhm.
think work, who you like the way they work, and you think you work well with
Yes.
them, and that could be your starting point.
Yes. And be sure to consider someone where it would be a mutually beneficial collaboration. So, whether it's an exchange with a freebie on the email list, find someone that is going to be about the same level as you, that will be almost a no brainer for them to work with you.
Yeah, exactly. And don't
Mhm.
forget to reach out to your friends and other people in your network who might have a good recommendation for you, because
Yes.
I think it's a great place to start because you already trust this person. So
Mhm.
you the person that they're going to recommend, I think it's going to be a little bit easier to think, okay, I think I'll work well with them because someone I know has kind of put their name out there to me. So that's a great place to start as well.
Exactly. I know Chris and I turn to each other often for asking each other, who do you think would be well? I want to do this thing. Who should I work with? And it's always just an easy way to find someone, and then start building that relationship. And then step number 3 is determine what project you want to collaborate on. You want to make this an easy yes for the person that you're reaching out with. Instead of reaching out to them and saying, "Hey, I'd like to collaborate on something. What do you think we should do?" Come to them with an idea in mind and be willing to be flexible with that, because they might have an idea that you didn't think of that is also incredible and such a wonderful opportunity. So when you do reach out, which we'll talk about in just a second, be sure you have a good idea in mind, and a solution to maybe a problem that they have, or a solution to maybe your followers, your readers, your viewers, that maybe you could solve together.
Exactly. And I think that's a great point that you made there, because the whole
Mhm.
point of collaboration is you're bringing two or more different people together with different
Yes.
points of view, different ideas that you can come together and create something that you couldn't have done on your own. So I think that's a great way to think about this. This is something you want to create together. Don't just go in with your mindset on this is what it
Yes.
has to be. And so, Allison, what's our fourth and final step here?
So, the fourth and final step is to reach out and make the ask. And I'm going to give you the biggest tip here is that you reach out through email. Don't send them an Instagram DM. Don't send them a message on Facebook. Don't comment on YouTube and expect anything back. You don't know how much that person is checking those messages, but you know they are checking their email. That is going to be the most direct and the best way to email them. And when you reach out to make the ask, you know, tell them, hey, we've been communicating here. I have this idea, and make it clear, make it specific, and don't be upset if they say no.
Mhm.
Don't be offended if they say no, because you don't know what's going on behind the scenes in their business. You don't know what's going on behind the scenes in their life. Accept the no, and then continue to actually have a relationship and working on a friendship with that person, because you never know if the doors will open up in the future for you to collaborate on a project together again.
Yeah, exactly. See, someone
Mhm.
like me, I'm small time. Allison was a
No,
massive voice in the finance community. So when I
don't
reached out
listen
to
to
her,
him.
I
Don't
didn't
listen to
DM her
him.
because I knew she would never see it. And I was like, hey, if she's busy, she's busy, because I know. But in all honesty, people are working on so many different things. We all live different lives. So just to be ready to be flexible and know it may work. And if it doesn't, maybe it'll work later in the future.
Yes. So that's your 4-step process. Step number 1, get engaged in your community now. Don't wait. Step number 2, narrow it down to a person that you think would be a good fit. Step number 3 is determine a project that you would like to collaborate on. And then step number 4, which is usually the step people do first, which is reach out and make the ask.